Hi everyone. It is wonderful to have all of you here in this conference. Like we have discussed, this conference is basically to capture the top 3 entrepreneurial skills that you have put it in the group. So I'm just trying to compile all of them. Though we have started the group some time ago, we could not bring everybody on one platform where we can meet and all that. Just before COVID, Lakshmi Narayana actually went about booking Park Hyatt, and then he cancelled it because of the COVID. We had to cancel it. But otherwise, there was an idea to bring everybody on a platform in one place so that we all meet and get to know each other. So I have here about close to 80 plus, about 96 so far, competitive skills that people have said that these are the areas that we actually given us success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, if someone has said focus, then what is the competency that Pierman talked about and what is the competency my tool talked about? So that's how it will be categorized. And then we will present a paper back to you. It will be a presentation, PowerPoint presentation that I will do. That is the second step. And the third step is also to do some personal interviews so that people will get to know. At least we will have about two programs a month, whereby we can have introductions and all that. So this is how I'm compiling right now. This is the shape in which it is there, but it will become much better. It will probably become a PowerPoint a little while later. So that is a quick intro about this conference. And then I would also want each one of you to introduce yourself. Take a minute and introduce yourself. And then the format is very clear. We will talk about the top three skills that made you what you are today. Okay, you feel you are successful, then what are those 3 competencies? If you feel you are a better entrepreneur, then what are those 3 skills? So what is it that contributed to your success so far? That's what we're going to talk in this conference. So we will start with introductions in an alphabetical order. So we'll go with Arvind first, and then Raghuvanshi, and then Shruti. I think Shruti must have walked home. I can see the fan there. So yeah, and then Vineet. So that's how we will go. I hope Vineet is able to hear us. We will figure it out.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, Harsha. I'm able to hear. Thanks.
Wonderful. So we'll start with Arvind now. 1 minute introductions. You can tell what you're doing, what your company is, and all that, so that people will have an idea.
Okay. All right. So hi everyone. That's again. So thing is, I'm basically an architect. That's what is the qualification that I carry by my studies. And being a graduate in architecture, I got graduated in design. That's how I always put it, not into architecture, but in design. Then riding on to a design skill, then I looked in the platform in which I could really express the design skill. So did a bit of architecture, did a few of the buildings, did a few good buildings also. Then the interest started looking in, like architecture gives you a lot of kick, but it doesn't give you money. So then I start looking into area, what can give me more money? So then suddenly, like, see, because my college was, it was a fine arts and architecture college. So that's where I first got introduced to what advertising is all about. And somehow I liked it. I loved it because I used to write a lot. So I used to write for a lot of these guys who were running agencies and all. And I thought that I was not bad. I was good enough like anybody else. And so there was something, a hidden desire kind of a thing. Then it so happened that when I was still doing what I wanted to do, my other partner, who is still my partner, he approached me. Then he said, like, let's start a design agency in which we do everything related to design, including advertising, including architecture, including interiors, which sounded really novel and good. So that's how we started. We did a bit of architecture in beginning, coupled with advertising. Like we specialize in advertising segment, particularly for builders. I think like maybe like we have that proud pedigree in terms of you name a prominent builder, like they would be a part of my portfolio at some point of time or the other. Now from there, then we got into, when we had the market slump, then we thought that let's get into interiors because we always were fascinated by architecture. So that's where we got into the interiors part, and then we started our manufacturing. We got into modular kitchens and wardrobes and all that. So High-In is the name of the modular segment that we have, and Hita is the name of the company in advertising. That's about me.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes, Raghuvanshi, it is you now.
Thanks, Harsha. Thanks, everybody. Good to know about you, Arvind. Me, Rajgopal, did my bachelor's in civil engineering, then went to US, like everybody else was doing at that point of time. Did my master's and then worked there for some time. Then realized probably should come back to India. So returned back almost now. It's been about 18 years ago that I returned back and worked in the IT industry for some time. I've always been an IT guy. By profession, it's always been an IT in my system. And started my own company about 15 years ago. So worked in the IT industry for about 3 years in India, then felt, okay, something that we need to do for products in India, we are probably not bringing in good talent. So I thought we'll start working on products that India needs. And so that's how 15 years ago I started working, and I today run two companies. One is a more technology-oriented company. That's the Windows system. So you're seeing that shirt. I didn't realize what I was wearing that until Harsha asked me this. But that's into working with educational institutions, higher educational institutions. So we work with them in managing their campus. Across the campus management, essentially. So right from admissions onwards till they become an alumni kind of. So that's one area where we employ about 15 odd people there. And I work with about 60 odd educational institutions across the country, including some universities. And then in about 2000, exactly, when Netherlands, one of the companies that my friend's friend ran, they approached me and they wanted to build a product themselves, which as soon as I heard about it, I said, this needs to be in India again, joint venture, and that's called Forum Business. So that's my the second company that I ran in India. And is into patient experience management with hospitals in improving the patient experience as well as making sure that their operations are all running smoothly, aligned with the vision and all those things. So essentially, we can feedback. I mean, simply we use
You're
it
breaking
to
out.
improve the
Raj, you're breaking out.
service quality levels and all those things.
What I suggest you do is log in, log out again. So in the meantime, I'll bring in.
Just
yeah. So Shruti, you can start your introduction.
Thank you, Harsha. Thank you. I think this is a wonderful initiative, a good way to connect with, the group, because the group as such is so big, we don't get to connect with many people at an individual level. So thank you for this. So I'm a born Hyderabadi and did my schooling, everything over here. I started my career working with Cognizant as a tester. 8 months there, and I realized it's not my cup of tea. I quit and I took up a course in HR. And then I joined HSBC in their HR department as the expat relationship manager. And I worked there for about 5 years, had amazing, I think that was one of the best stints that I had as a corporate employee, because I got to learn a lot. Because I was handling expats, I got to, interact with a lot of CEO, CFO level people and all of that. So it was a very good role that I got, very good exposure. Then I wanted to pursue my MBA, so I quit and I did my MBA from ISB, and then I joined Deloitte, again in HR strategy. And after I had my child, I thought it's time to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I just quit working, took a break for about 4 or 5 months and started exploring opportunities. I started with one of my seniors from college. We did technical training. I'm still somehow part of that firm where, we teach skills like digital marketing, data science, and, Python, all of these to primarily students who are looking for jobs and also to colleges, because ultimately these skills make them employable. And these are the top skills, required by the IT industry. So that was part one. And part two of my entrepreneurial journey is right now with one of my friends. I'm running a firm. It's called Perceptions. It's a branding agency. So a little very similar to what Arvind does with Hita, but I think his sector is very limited to real estate, but ours is, across. So we do end-to-end branding. So from naming your firm to, creating the logo, to creating all your merchandise, your portfolios, brochures, your websites, your digital marketing, you name anything, and we do it, even packaging solutions, gift hampers for your clients, anything that you need to, display your brand, and we are there to help you. So that's where we are.
All right. Yeah, Raj, you're back now.
I'm back. Sorry.
You look much more bright. You look much more bright now. Okay. So go ahead.
I think it's his laptop.
Yeah. Laptop is always reliable.
So, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was just telling you about Forum, and we are into patient experience management. Essentially, we work with hospitals, and there is this concept called customer experience management that's sort of picked up in the last 15, 20 years in the West anyway. And when Netherlands, this company approached me, and I figured, this is something that we need to work in India as well, because, there is so much competition and everything going on. And I really felt that hospitals had this big problem of trust deficit, patient and the hospital. And if somehow bridge that gap, there is a niche business that we can sort of work with and actually add value to both the parties once. So we've been able to do that, and some of our hospitals have been. Harsha, you might be also interested in knowing that AINU is the the top 50 super specialty hospitals in the world today.
Wow.
In the world, and there is only one Euro nephro clinic in the world that was ranked among the top 50, and that was AINU. So and the reason is they had three parameters for ranking, and one of them was patient experience included. So we worked with a few hospitals. Some of our hospitals, 3 of our hospitals were listed in the top 50 out of India. So it's I think out of India only 8 were there in the top 50, and 3 of them were incidentally our customers. AINU was ranked twice continuously for 2nd year in a row. So I was very happy to see these things happen. So we're continuing to work. We've opened up some hospitals in Punjab also today, Pune, Mumbai, all those things. So it's growing. So that's. But interestingly, I'm just noticing that after Arvind and Shruti's introduction, Harsha may not have done a very random choice about bringing us together here.
Exactly. In fact, I had a point to add. I'll let you finish and then I'll add that.
So because when we talk about patient experience, we talk about a lot about branding and how
exactly my point. So that's what I wanted to talk about. We offer something called customer experience design, which is yours is very specific to the hospital and the medical industry. Right. Ours is across industries. If anybody needs it, we design it for them. And you're very right. It's very niche and still underdeveloped in India right now.
Absolutely. So I think I'll come back to you guys later. But I was just having a discussion with my daughter about this in the morning because she was very interested in this and she went into cognitive science to study cognitive science.
Awesome.
But she was saying, how do I pick up a career in this field? There's no big company that is working in this space and all that stuff. So I said, it's really something that you have to work on. There's ample opportunity, huge opportunity in this space.
All right. Absolutely. Wonderful, Raj. Wonderful. Okay, so we have Vineet. Vineet, you can unmute and then go ahead if you can still hear us.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Vineet. It's a 1-minute introduction.
Hello, everyone. Very, very insightful hearing you out, Raj. Yeah. So in fact, for the very introduction, I think the initiative from Harsha's side, talking about those 3 qualities as an entrepreneur, which really maybe elevates you or takes you to the next level, that itself was like a lot of introspection for me. He initiated this. I mean, I should have read this on the July, which was my birthday, and since then, of course, like till the time all through that, what are those qualities for sure, which have driven me, like as and when probably I should have faced challenges as an entrepreneur. So, friends, this is Vineet, Surana. This side, I mean, all I understand is real estate, Maybe I dream real estate, I talk real estate, I kind of sleep real estate. Real estate in every form is what interests me. So while I was hearing out maybe Rajgopal or Shruti or Arvind, I mean, which is a important aspect is real estate. Healthcare, what you all have spoken just now. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible, Harsha? Oh, okay. So any industry, whether it's say a software or a pharma or to do with an ad agency, real estate is something which is like a prerequisite for anyone and everyone. So proudly, we have been in the advisory business past say 16 years. We completed 16th year of ours on this 14th of July, and followed by my birthday on 19th of July. So as an entrepreneur, one thing what I've ensured is like every birthday I ensured that access to zero again, back to zero. And I see myself as a startup journey. So that keeps me motivated. I strongly feel the prerequisite as an entrepreneur is be prepared to be uncomfortable anytime, any hour. So just setting goals, meeting the targets, and all this what we are known for, and all the more in this current time and industry. As an entrepreneur, you just think that you've done enough and probably you can rest. So every day, every year, I set my access back to zero. I take a lot of inspiration from people around. So as an entrepreneur, the people who inspire me the most are entrepreneurs again. And while in real estate, it gives me a humongous opportunity to, meet the who and who of the industry. So we should have been instrumental in kind of serving not less than say 300 plus of these large corporates, names like say the Bajaj and the Tatas, very, very closely working with the core groups of these large conglomerates. And, a lot of those IT companies again, we have seen companies who should have been like 50 and they should have gone 55 in the span of those 5 to 7 years. So real estate, as I said, is means a lot to me. So from the advisory side, we've kind of diversified again in a ancillary side of that is the construction.
Vineet.
We took off construction and
Vineet.
Yeah.
You are actually breaking out quite very often in between.
Okay.
So you would like to fix up your internet? I am sorry, I have to.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. No, I'm sorry.
So what we'll do is,
I don't know if I'll really be able to do that now. I'll just attempt one time that I just come out of and I just use my data if that makes it better.
Yeah, maybe please do that. Yeah, please do that.
I've just done that. Let me know if it is better now or if there's still this disturbance from my end.
This is better. This is better. Yeah. So you can quickly finish your introduction. Then what we will do is that we will do those top 3 skills of everyone. We don't have much time at all. So we
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So all I'll say is like real estate is what we believe in, and somewhere with a lot of confidence I can say nobody understands real estate better than us. So I will not confine that we just do it in Hyderabad. So we are addressing and catering to the client's requirement across the South India, Bangalore, Chennai, and Pune and Bombay as well, like for a lot of our corporate clients. So the advisory side of real estate, and of course in construction. And in the group of 4, I'm very, very thankful to Arvind, who has helped us out in the whole of branding exercise for APS, that's the advisory side of business, and also Rishabha Constructions. Thanks, Arvind. And also, I would thank you, Harsha, for being a mentor to me. And I must appreciate your patience always. And I'll be one of those most notorious students of yours who's never kind of been available when I was supposed to. So I'll say a sorry for that as well. And I'm looking forward for the rest of this day and event with you. Yes.
Sure, sure. You see, you are a busy guy, so you cannot be notorious. You're a very busy man. Okay, so the introductions are done. Let's try to see what are those top 3 skills. I'm calling them skills. We can call on competencies, behavioral traits, whatever you want to call them. But I'm trying to keep it very simple because I want to get the essence of what actually contributed to your own success or to make you a better entrepreneur. That's the whole idea. So, Arvind, you can start. What are those 3? We have, if I have to divide the time, maybe about 10 minutes. Is it okay? 10 will still be 40 minutes, I guess. We'll still
10 more jada hai, Harsha.
Huh?
10 is too much for me.
10 is too much for you?
Okay. Audible.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe 7-8 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes or so. You can keep it like that.
My time somebody else can use. Yeah.
That's sure. Please.
So, all right. See. So my top 3 learnings or what I try to implement is like, first thing was like ability to be a good listener, listen with empathy. That's one particular thing. I emphasize that word because otherwise the essence is lost. It's not like maybe that's a personality that I get to my work. So I cannot be a cutthroat business guy, and I'm happy with that. That's so that's one part of the thing. Because the difference is like, see, there's a lot that you may have to offer, but until you don't really understand what the guy needs, there'll be a big mismatch. So it's like we need to get down to that. That's one part. Then second part, what I had put in is like the ability to create value for the client. If I'm not able to create any value, it's like it doesn't make any sense. Somebody comes in and he pays only if you're creating a value for him. And to do so, there are times you'll have to stretch yourself. There are times you have to reinvent yourself. But that's the core value that we always want to bring to the table, is that if you're interacting with somebody, if there is no value creation, that means maybe we are not the right guys to be working for him. So I don't mind withdrawing myself from a job like that. And that's what I've always been doing. And that is the reason whenever we are committing to a job or something, most of my clients are very, very patient with us because we put more than 100% into it. So that's one thing. It is working in his interest. Then the third one is like it's a mix up of quite a few things. Like it is like that you have to say that you need to have the ability to thrive under pressure. The higher the pressure is, that the more you need to be apt to perform. And now, like why I say that is like pressure could be of any type. One is like we need to strongly believe that there are definitely a whole lot of bunch of people who are far better than you. Even if we say that we are trying our best, it doesn't make you the best. That we have to believe that. It's not just by me saying to somebody, no, I'm the best, it doesn't make me the best, because there are people who are much, much better and competent than us. Now, unless I don't realize that fact and I don't keep raising my game, am I better than what I was yesterday? It will not grow. So that's the whole point. All my benchmark, a lot of my clients come back to us. I just say that definitely have more depth than what we did for the last time, because I'm much sharper today than what I was yesterday. So these are 3 of my basic learnings, which I try to get to work all the time that I come in. And yeah, another one important thing is no client is bigger than the game that we are in. So it is like if somebody he thinks he's too large for the boots that are there, maybe like we are not the right fit, he is most welcome to go to somebody else. It's like, see, the whole idea is that you need to enjoy even working with a client. It's not just about the deliverable. And I would want to add, there is one important aspect that I keep telling my clients also. A lot of times clients come and say that, how is it that you're producing such a beautiful work for one X client every time, and it is not that great for a client B? My whole point is that the output, what a design agency can give, or as designers, what we can give, it is purely dictated by the enthu that the promoter gets in. If a client is excited with his job, we will create an exciting job. If he's not so excited about it, it will not be exciting. So it's like your product is as good as the client. That's what my strong belief is. If somebody is able to really motivate us to the core, he'll extract the best work out of us. And I thank Vineet also for that matter, because he knew how to deal with me. That's one thing. So that's it definitely requires a certain kind of a sense, because everybody cannot really get the best out of a creative guy. It's not possible. So yeah, a few of my learnings.
Very interesting actually. Yeah, I completely understand. Listen, understand what exactly that they want, so that the perspective is built in a correct manner, creating value, reinventing yourself all the time, putting the 100%, give the best, thrive under pressure. I think this is one great thing. Some people called it persistence. Some variety people. The whole idea is to succeed.
No, see, I don't know. Actually, like I think I'm best under pressure. Like I wait for the pressure to build in, and then I know that I have no chance to fail, so I give the best shot. So it comes like.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a very nice point of a client also being quite excited, because if he or she is more excited, the best comes out of you. That is also there. I've seen this everywhere. What Raj did in Asian Institute of Nephrology and Urology. The owner, Dr. Mallikarjuna, is so excited about his hospital. Because of that, he's able to put that patient experience thing very easily. I've seen that with my own eyes, and I've experienced it recently when I got my stones removed. So it is something the person has to be excited, otherwise it doesn't happen. That's what I see in my clients also. If, my coach, he should believe in himself, only then it happens. This is a very important thing that you brought up. Excellent, very good. So we will go to Raj now. Raj, your three, what are they?
Oh, let me see. I don't know if my three are so insightful. I think each one of us comes from a different background and different kind of an industry context, and so maybe sometimes things are different for each of us. But what I, sort of a IT / customer experience kind of an area that I sort of work on. I sort of work with different products that one, are more built on technology, which scale, and the others are more consultative kind of a element that I think, Arvind and Shruti are into. So what I see always is that, I think as entrepreneurs, I don't know, each one of us starts with our own sort of idea of where we want to end up and all that stuff. But definitely it's not to be able to earn a salary. I think that was not why we sort of got out of, or ever if we were in corporate or whatever, right? So that was not the idea. So I think if we're going to be running this as a larger enterprise than just a single man's enterprise, then I think we should be able to gather talent that is at least equal or better than us. And this is, I felt, is a very big success factor, especially for a small company. It becomes even more important because talent is, the best talent is not easily available for the smaller companies. So I think if you are a person who believes in the idea, who sort of brings out that conviction in the way you speak about your idea, about your company, about your product and all the service, I think some of those infectious qualities sort of rub off. And after starting the company, I think after about 13 years or so, I went to Tata Institute of Social Sciences, right? And for recruitment, actually, I went there to recruit, hospital experts, doctors actually, who went there to study hospital administration. And I said to myself, this is going to be the toughest sell for me, right? I have sold to customers before, but selling to this young group of people who have the best of the companies lined up to hire. But that I think that is the difficult thing or the important thing for a company or an entrepreneur to have is the ability to be able to attract the right talent. Because once you have the talent, the idea can be anything. I don't really give too much precedence and priority to an idea, because the way you execute, the way you position, the way you create that perception around the idea, that changes the whole thing. You could be selling the same peanuts, but you could be selling it 10 times at a higher price, right? So that's completely different. So that's where I think the team matters a lot more. The second topic that I had, what did I send you? I'm forgetting already. Yeah, the right price for the product. So I think this was the biggest puzzle that I had to solve as I was going along. Where is the right price for my product, and how do you do this? Because because sometimes you may not have a competitor, and in that case, how do you price your product. So I think the market sort of determines the product, but again, the market determines the price based on what you tell the market about your product. While there is competition and they might say, okay, the other guy is giving it for 5 rupees and why are you charging me 10 rupees? Well, the way you talk about your product really changes the whole thing. So, we don't go and haggle with, the coffee price at a Hyatt hotel. So we do that, at some other smaller guy, we don't care. So we pay 100 rupee tip at a Hyatt hotel. So the perceptions really matter. I think the value perception, I think we have to get it right. Especially so for some of these, non-physical kind of services. If it's products, there's a cost involved. For Shruti and Arvind, I think this is most important because, it's all about perception, really. And if you are in the right context, the same kind of energy, the same kind of output can fetch you a lot more 10x versus, somewhere else, which is not. So I think, we have to be clear about choosing where we want to position ourselves and price ourselves. Because you price yourself, underprice yourself, and you get into a market that does not appreciate your service, then you're wasting your time with them. So that's something that I realized a little bit late, but that's from experience I'm talking about. So you can take it. Then the last one, I realized this is more about scaling operations.
Yeah. You wrote as always build to scale. That's what you
always build to scale. Yeah. So this is about scaling operations. I think as entrepreneurs, we're always interested in hitting the market first and checking out our product or service and new offerings and trying to see how they work or not work. So we're always in this proof of concept kind of a mode. But there comes a time where the concept has been proven and then you need to start building it to scale. So if you don't build it to scale, then you are still reinventing the wheel and you're doing this very innovative stuff. You're very happy doing it. You're enjoying it, but you're not probably making the same multiple that you would have done if you start scaling up, building the scale operations to scale. So I think these are the 3 things that I would probably talk about if I had to. I mean, there are tons of other things, obviously, sales and revenue recognition and all those things come into play. Those are more of the mundane clerical things, but things that we would generally ignore. I think I thought I'll put them out there.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. This gathering talent and all that is very, very important, especially, in my type of business, it is even more important. And I find this challenge whenever I go to an assignment, getting people with huge experience and all that. So I have my own mantras to get talented people to work along small partnerships, but hiring them and keeping them in your company and on a continuous basis, month on month, you have a salary and all that. Those things are very, very tough. And also it is very important, without which it is just not possible. Growth is not possible. And also the right price. I think this is one big subject, isn't it? Right price. It is so difficult to get your price right. Putting your finger there and say, this is my price. It is very difficult.
Yeah.
Even Philip Kotler cannot help you on that part. I think, one of the P's is price for him.
Unless you become an Apple, then of course they decide the price, they rule the price.
Well, you can actually. That's the thing. I realize that each one of us can become Apple in our own fields, and there's nothing that stops us. It's only our ability to sort of see ourselves as Apple in our fields. So and that's about it. Because I will tell you from my own personal experience, the patient experience module, when it started in 2011, the first customer that bought it at 10,000 rupees per subscription for a hospital per month. That was theirs. And I was also thinking, it's a decent price and I think we are getting something out of it, right? The same thing, we are now added a lot of value-added products around it, but the perceptions and, we bring in a lot of behavioral psychology into it and consumer sentiment and, a lot of these behavioral economics kind of concept, why people buy the way they buy and irrational the system one, system two thinking. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. Daniel Kahneman sort of came out with this system one, system two, the subconscious mind. So we sort of talk about all these things. When we do that, the price becomes immaterial, and people are really interested in, getting us on board rather than talk about price and haggling at the price levels. So the recent and conversations that we are having today, we're charging the same, almost, I mean, the bottom framework is the same thing, but, we've added value-added services around it. We're charging close to about 2 lakhs per month for the same thing, right? But it works. So I tell you, I think it's more about positioning and, creating that perception around it. Of course, adding value. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't add value for the 2 lakhs, then obviously you can't sort of, sustain that model for too long. You can probably con one person for a day, but you can't do this for a while. But I've had customers who have been paying us that kind of money for the last 5 years now. So it's a matter of keeping up, and it's not easy, right? So because once you have set the expectation that you are going to be able to solve these kinds of problems, so you need to continue to solve them, add them value. So, Vineet, you're absolutely right. Unless you become an apple, but you can become an apple. That's what I thought.
So true, Raj. Yeah.
We just wear apple and see apple, but we don't become apple. Isn't it?
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good conversing. And also build to scale is a very nice concept that you have spoken. I wish we had more time to dwell on that, because this is my favorite subject of scaling. Is one big problem everybody has got. Nobody knows where the pivot is. You have to keep on working on it, and then the pivot comes, and then that's where. Anyway, so we'll come back to this a little while later. Now it is time for you, Shruti. You can go ahead and then give me your threes.
Sure. So I didn't, I think, read it as skills. I just read it as 3 things that really, help you become a good entrepreneur. And the first one I mentioned, there were people. So for me, especially, this holds true in every aspect, especially because I'm a working mother. So I have people at home who have a very strong support system that help me so that I can, go out and work. Otherwise, it's very difficult. And then also my team. So a lot of what Rajgopal said actually holds true for me also. Unless you find the right team, I can't sit and make creatives. I can just give them the strategy. I can just give them the vision, but the team has to execute. They have to actually churn out the work. So if we don't find the right people, for you to scale up your work or build your business is very difficult. So that's the reason the first thing that I wrote is people. And coincidentally, both the businesses that I've been associated with have been heavily people dependent. So even in my previous firm, we had to have excellent trainers for us to be able to gain that market edge or value and get repeat business and stuff like that. And even now, everything is people based. What we offer is very intangible. It's a service. So people are the I think the stronghold. So if you have to convert it into a competency, you can maybe convert it into something like personal effectiveness, or the ability to sort of connect with people and help them sort of connect with you and make them work for you, basically. So something on those lines, if you want to really convert it into a skill. So that would be first. The second would be patience. It's very easy. And in fact, it happened with me initially, when things never used to work, I used to get a little anxious. I used to get perturbed that, was it the right thing? Was it the right decision to leave the corporate world and come into business, But over time, I learned that this is how it's going to be. That's the difference between being a salaried individual and having your own business, that it's going to be turbulent. There are things like COVID or, something that comes and people are not there to work for you anymore. You have to go hire your whole team again. Or say like Rajgopal was mentioning, pricing right. So I think we've taken a year to figure out how we want to price our clients. We've done work at some really cheap rates and we realized that we've done so much of work. Why didn't we not ask for more pay? And I think there are a couple of times we charged them really high and they're like, what, you guys are very expensive. So obviously we didn't want to leave money on the table, but we also didn't want to sort of charge very high from our customers. So everything is a tried and tested thing. So you have to have a lot of patience, and not get annoyed, because what happens is when you get anxious, when you get annoyed, you lose focus. You lose focus on how you want to go ahead. What is your next goal? You try the things that are not working out are the ones that keep bothering you and, not let you focus on what you want to actually go to. So that is why I feel patience, especially I've learned this the hard way. but patience is the key to be a very successful entrepreneur. And similarly with perseverance, I think all of us mentioned this in various forms, like you were saying, Harsha, the different ways of saying it. But yes, perseverance, persistence is the key. Things will not work, things will get stalled. You'll have to keep trying. Say you want to launch a new product now. Until I'm sure when you decided to launch this customer experience thing, you would have thought about it. You would have seen it happening elsewhere. You would have wondered, Rajgopal, whether or not it will work in a country like India, where there are so many things involved with the different kind of mindsets that people have on how a hospital should be, how a patient should be, all of those things. So I think perseverance is key. You need to believe in yourself and just keep doing it until everything takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So you have to keep at it and believe in yourself, and also have the ability to then take stock and course correct in case what you're thinking is not right. So I think all of that falls under perseverance. So yeah, these would be my three.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, one needs to have all of those three things. So without people, you can't do it. Patience is very essential, because you just lose your head otherwise. Right? And then perseverance. Yeah, everybody wants to succeed. Entrepreneurs, all that I have spoken to in our group and outside, and the bosses that I work with, they don't leave it off just like that. They are always at it. That's the quality. Okay. Now
Actually,
let's go to the
I
man.
just have a
Vineet.
quick
Yeah,
comment, Harsha. Quick
Yeah.
comment here. Shruti, incidentally, we started with hospital. But that was the third industry vertical we tried. The first one was, banking and insurance. That's where Netherlands customers. We had customers in Netherlands for, banks and all. So I thought naturally, banks in India should also be able to use it, relationship banking and all these things. So we tried, nothing happened for 6 months. Then second one was incidentally real estate sector. So we tried to get, people are buying this 1 crore plus apartments or buildings, and there's the sales advisor, sales process. Why don't we get the sales process feedback and see how, which guy is doing better? It it gained a little bit of traction, but then there were other external factors like privacy, data privacy, and other issues that got in the way, and we could never make a headway. We were again at a crossroads, and then this was the third one that we started out working, and it doesn't work. You're right. You keep trying and you keep trying and finding ways, tweaking the model.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you wanted to be on this call in spite of all your thing. You also wanted to be. You're also very perseverant. Okay, Vineet, there you go.
So one thing common with all my fellow friends today, what I've seen is the patience aspect. Having worked with Arvind, I know, he carries a lot of patience, and having heard Rajgopal, patience certainly, and the perseverance, and for sure, Shruti again, all P's again, people, perseverance and persistency and all of that, right? So in fact, early in my business career, when I did attempt animation production, this was something completely out of what I was in business. And while I was learning this 3D, the D's which really inspired me was like, 3Ds, dedication, devotion, and determination. So that was something it was a kind of, I used to tell myself, dedication, devotion, 3D is what I'm going to always carry in my life. I was pursuing, I was kind of learning that time. Of course, not learning 3D, but I was exploring a business in 3D animation, graphics and all. So this was way back in 4, 5. I made an attempt of reaching out to the big man again, Amitabh Bachchan. So one thing as an entrepreneur, I would say one of the qualities is like move with the confidence, be determined for sure. So while I was maybe just 26, 27, and I was just I learned this industry of animation, and all I made was a plan that I'm going to make a animated video, and where I'm going to see Amitabh Bachchan as the key character. All his hit music videos was my inspiration. I'll convert them into animation. And when I said that I'm going to reach out to him, people questioned, are you crazy? Like, you want to meet Amitabh Bachchan, or you want to do a business with Amitabh Bachchan? I said that's my determination. And trust me, that worked. I in fact could reach him out within 15 days of my thought process that I must meet him. I got connected, and maybe the 16th day, that is, 14th of December, 7th of December 2004, I really landed in Bombay, and I went and met him. We made a show reel with the best of the industry experts. I made a pitch of the business plan. He sounded very, very bullish about it. But post that, of course, Amitabh Bachchan was in his peak. All those KBCs and a lot of movies, it was a big comeback for him. So animation somewhere was not something which maybe really inspired him. Yeah, but then early from my life, the three points what you mentioned, Harsha, I would say one has to be visionary, always think big for sure. Whatever you are and doesn't mean really where you are, that's your destiny and you're really going to remain there. It doesn't really happen. So my initial years, I was just confined to, a shop of a 300 square foot, the family business, we manufacture wire mesh. So it was early in business. I mean, not that I could really pursue a MBA or anything, but then it was a family business. And then as in a lot of these typical Marwadi families, family partitions, what we go through. So while I was graduating, we were going through a family partition, and pretty early, while I was 19, 20, I got in my dad's business, supporting him in these sales. So sales was something which interested me all through, sales and marketing. So even in the days of 2006, 7, it was a very, very initial years of those internets and all. And I remember the kind of systems we got in and the cost of softwares. So all that what I introduced. So I would say that the vision again, whether whatever industry we are in, so while I was pursuing or maybe in dad's business, I got in a lot of innovation in terms of creating the first website. So it was a very rare thing in 2008. No, I'm sorry, not 2008, but 1998, frankly, when I was in the dad's business. 5, I moved out of the family business. And when I moved out again, the vision was I should be on my own, and somewhere the real estate was of my interest. So I got on the advisory side of it. Why I got on the advisory side of it? Because when I took off on my business, I just kind of moved out on my own. And even though I came from a business background, business family, took off on my own, frankly. And I had a saving of close to 2 lakh in my PF then, Provident Fund. So that served as my capital, the seed capital. Of course, the advisory wasn't something which called for a lot of investment also. But then one thing, yes, the confidence what you carry, and not just the confidence, but the knowledge of the subject, So when you grow wiser by day, for sure, people take you more serious. Otherwise, someone at 26, 27 advising somebody to buy real estate was not all that easy. But then we did have an early moving advantage. So there was this culture of this IPCs like the JLL, CBREs and all venturing in India. And same time, it was one local company in Hyderabad, so it happened. Of course, we carried a vision that for sure down the road, we are going to be one of those most preferred real estate advisory companies. It helped me in having that goal. We wanted to get in the sophistication. We wanted to use technology as early as maybe those 2006, 7, 8, building those websites. 2014, we kind of developed a portal again, which was one of a kind called Office Advisor, purely supporting the search for office spaces. It was on the grounds of maybe 99 acres Magic Bricks, but this is more focused again as a office portal. So I'll say that one should see the unseen being an entrepreneur, One has to be really, really prepared to be uncomfortable. It's never an easy journey, Unlike a job, I know for sure I go and sit and do my job and this is my salary which is going to hit. I perform well, I get my bonus. It is not an easy journey, So maybe there were many years you burn money. There are many years you don't take your own salaries. But yes, you still carry the vision that, the days ahead are something... you're going to make it big, and that works. And speed has been, in my industry, where we are in the advisory side of it, where of course, while we are competing with these large players, as I said, the JLL, CBREs, Cushman's on the advisory side, the personal confidence, the knowledge, very, very critical and important, and the speed, it as an entrepreneur, you just cannot sit कि कुछ inquiry भी आई है. So unlike maybe a employee mindset can be okay, fine, dekh lenge, kal dekh lenge, but then entrepreneur has to be on the move. You cannot define ki bhai, maybe leave it for tomorrow or any time later, because speed is the game in as an entrepreneur. I see that as very, very critical and important. Try and address the issue as and when it is kind of arise, and don't postpone things. Critical and important again. And when I say speed is a game, the action is what I mentioned to Harsha when he asked, right? So one has to be action oriented. Ki bhai, kuch kaam hai, so let us do it. Create an opportunity rather not wait for an opportunity. So we have done that all through in our journey of real estate. The kind of advices maybe we should have given to a lot of these corporates would have landed up in savings of millions of rupees. Maybe in the right decision making, the rightful real estate again. The goal was never like a quick money for us. It wasn't that, It was always like I should have a customer. Any money, every money we kind of advised, it was always like it is my own money. So that has been our approach all through. So it was never a short-term goal that let's make a quick money. And that pays big time. So we have clients who are our repeat clients in our entire journey of 15 years now. So when we do with the companies, interestingly, it doesn't get restricted to the companies, but the company, maybe the promoters, their employees and all look forward to take the right advice from us when it comes to the real estate. So that is it. And the second, as I said, of course, the action, I would say, remaining focused and remaining goal-oriented is very, very critical and important. So maybe in the early years, the entire idea was, okay, let's just jo kaam kar rahe hain, usko close karte hain. But now when reaching in our 40s, the realization is it should be more of an organizational approach now. Set your targets, set your goals. And people are very, very important, as Raghuvanshi mentioned and as Shruti mentioned, And particularly in the service industry, you're absolutely nothing. Your entire investment is a resource. Your human resource, your people, they make the whole difference. And the last thing, what I really, again, is something to do with the people is the right team again, the right people, right team. So not just the people, but the right people again, because you might have a great goal, you might have great vision, but unless that is really backed with a good action plan and with the rightful team in place, they all are just like on papers or maybe in your dreams, but they don't really happen. And with the people, two things what are very critical and important, the art of delegation, very important. So maybe the early 10 years of my life, it was always like the approach of an achiever, that I must achieve it, I must do it, I must strike it while in real estate. But then now the realization is not just be an achiever, but start believing in maybe grooming team and build a team, the art of delegation. So a couple of the sessions where I kind of took the mentorship from Harsha, that was a deep learning. Again, I was always curious to understand from him how he was really managing these thousands of people while while he was associated with Apollo and all. The HR role he has taken, the CEO roles he has taken in various of the enterprises. So the delegation, very, very important. And with the delegation, again, the right systems in place, very critical and important again. So when you have systems in place, when you are good at delegating your jobs and responsibilities, then you're not restricted and confined for your growth as well. And that is when your models become the scalable model in whatever industry we are in. And today as an entrepreneur, scalability is everything, when we look at maybe even a developer, few references like say a Rajapushpas or say a My Homes or say an Aparnas, we have seen them growing in the last 15, 20 years. So unless those visionaries or those entrepreneurs take those risks to scale up fast, see the unseen again, maybe for taking a reference of an Aparna ventures into an area called Nalagandla, with the days where nobody thought an Nalagandla would be an Nalagandla, But then, yes, there are those people who can see the unseen, who takes those risks, are the ones who make the whole difference end of the day in this journey of entrepreneurship or in these scalable models, Yes. So I would say one has to be visionary. I'll say one has to be action oriented. Speed is a game in any industry. All the more in this time, speed is the game, We cannot wait for the right opportunities. I say Arvind is sitting on a gold mine, The high in what he has done is phenomenal, one of a kind. But Mr. Arvind is still to realize that, he must cash his gold mine, right? So I get so tempted whenever I visit
So
him.
maybe Vineet, my definition of gold is different. Let it come through. Patience.
No. So we'll really have to redefine the definitions also. I'll say probably.
Then I
Swap
want to
our
get
roles.
among rich friends, yeah. I'm happy with that. That's all.
So I would say yes, and people, of course, they make the whole difference. Not just the people working with you, the people with whom you work makes the whole difference again. Maybe an interaction with Arvind is a learning for me always. The interaction with Harsha has always been more insightful and more learning. So as an entrepreneur, I think we all should make it a point that we move around. Probably one day where myself, Arvind, Harsha, and our friend, my partner Pankaj, and Lakshmi Narayan, we visited to his factory. So that day was like an insightful, So opportunities are there everywhere. One certainly should aim high, aim big, be with the right set of people, be goal-oriented. That's it. And it's amazing to be an entrepreneur, I cannot relate myself to anything else other than entrepreneurship. So all that uncomfortable situations, all that risk-taking things is what excites me, and that's where I'm done. Yeah.
The only luxury you have in entrepreneurship is when you're uncomfortable, you can still prefer to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That is a mental choice you have. To the hell with it. Let's not worry about it.
We'll call kar lo, Harsha ko kar lo, call like Arvind ko call kar lo.
Bas.
Yeah.
So chalu karo. Good, wonderful. It was a pleasure having you guys. And
wonderful, sir.
Thanks.
We'll
Thanks, Harsha. Thanks for the initiative. Yeah.
Thank you, Harsha. Bye-bye.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti ji. Thanks, Vineet.
Now.
Mr. Gopal, Harsha ji.
Yeah.
Right, sir.
Arvind.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Nice meeting you, both of you.
Thanks.
Bye.